All right, we are live. Now today I am messing around with the low latency mode of this YouTube thing. So I've never used the low latency mode before. Let me get live on Amazon real quick here. So if you're watching on YouTube, and I'll wait for somebody to come in so I can test this, because before it was taking like 30 seconds for whatever happened here for you to see it. So we were watching that rocket launch the other day and yesterday, and I was like 30 seconds behind the rest of the world because I had the regular latency on. So, Michael Kidd, I just see that you popped in. So why don't we see, let me put your quote up here. So I'm going to say hello to all of you, and I'm going to use a word. I'm going to use the word, okay, let's try this. I want you right now to say the word keyboard in the chat. Keyboard. Now let's see how long it takes for you to respond to that, because that's what I'm curious about. Keyboard. So write keyboard in the chat, because now it's on low latency, so it shouldn't take. Okay, there we go. So that was about 15 seconds, maybe. All right, we'll see what it looks like. It's definitely on the lower latency. Now the trade-off, as I've been reading about this YouTube thing, the trade-off. Okay, so yeah, it looks like it's about the same, actually. What it is with this low latency mode, apparently the trade-off, maybe next time we'll try ultra low latency. The trade-off is visual quality, and you may get buffering, not from me, but from all the YouTube CDNs and everything that they're doing. So I think that's the difference. So next time we'll try ultra low latency, and we'll see what we get. So Michael Kidd says, yeah, about 15 seconds looks to be what it is. And Jorge Martinez is in on the Amazon chat. Hello there. Yeah, this is like a low-key one. I'm not sure how long I'm going to stream for today, but I got in. I thought this would be a fun thing to do on a stream, because as you know, I get a lot of stuff in to review. These two keyboards came in full disclosure, free of charge through the Amazon Vine program. And I thought it might be fun to play around with them, because these are actually pretty reasonably priced. This one really interested me because this is not a mechanical keyboard, but each of the keys, they say, is individually backlit. So if you wanted an RGB keyboard but didn't want to spend a lot of money, this one might be worth looking at. And I haven't tried it yet, so we'll see what it feels like. And what is neat about this is that it's $60. So if you like RGB but you don't want to spend a lot for a mechanical keyboard, this I thought was a pretty good price. And then the other one we're looking at, a little bit more expensive. This one is, let's see what this one costs. And Elvis Frazier is here as well on Amazon. This one is $93, and it is Mecha membrane gaming keyboard. I don't know what Mecha is, but apparently it's a membrane keyboard that clicks. So it gives you the feel of a mechanical keyboard without the mechanical parts driving the price up. That's my understanding. So we're going to try both of these out today on the stream. And then I'll probably shoot this tomorrow, or maybe later today, depending on timing. So that's the ball game. So let's take a look. I'm most interested in the lower priced one first. So let's get this out of the box. And we're going to unbox both of them. And then I will plug them into my computer here. And we'll see how they do. All right, so again, this is the membrane keyboard version. Nice long cable on it. You don't get the braided cable, though, with it. So it's just like your standard cable there. This is the Sanosa V2. And you get stickers, because you got to have the stickers. And I think this works with the standard Razer Synapse software. So if if you have other Razer stuff, this will work with it. And you got some, an on-the-fly macro key, which is F9. Okay, so they got some special functions built into the keyboard there. So we got to play around with that a little bit. All right, so there you go. And let's take a look. I mean, it's in the plastic, so let me get it out of the plastic here first. And I'll say hello to some more people as they're popping into the chat here. And BB Garnett says, even $60 seems expensive. Yeah, I think, I think what the over-under here is that for 20 bucks, you can get a keyboard that probably feels the same, same as this one feels. Although I will give Razer this credit. I think they do make nice stuff. So the industrial design, even on their cheaper products, I found to be a little more solid than your generic whatever that you're getting from. Yeah, so it's a spongy keyboard, no doubt. Very spongy. But it's got some, I don't want to say spring because it's not springy, but it's got, it doesn't feel awful. It actually feels fairly nice. And the keycaps are not very well defined under my studio lights, but you can see them in person as far as the letters on there. And I'm going to unbox both of them, and we'll see. Elvis is asking, is the more expensive one wireless? No, I think both of these require a USB connection. And if I'm not mistaken, most of these Razer keyboards do. Patrick Chang wants to know, have I tried the Keychron K2? I have not. I have not. I got to start looking at more keyboards. People like keyboards, but yeah, we'll see how this one works from a functionality standpoint in a minute. Because, what I found is that on the mechanical gaming keyboard side, a lot of these keyboards, the lower priced gaming keyboards that have RGB, are often zoned keys as far as the different backlighting. And apparently this one, they say, is individual key. Now this is the Mecha Hybrid. I don't think this one has individually lit keys. It's not saying it anywhere. And I guess they've got like a thing in there that makes it click, but it's not really mechanical. Yeah, I'm just trying to see. Yeah, I'm going to guess that this one is probably zoned lighting, but we'll see. Mecha Membrane. And I got to give Razer credit because they have all sorts of different types of keyboards out there. They try all sorts of different things. I have upstairs, I got this. This is an Amazon Vine thing. It came in free of charge from the Amazon Vine program, by the way. They have an optical mechanical keyboard, which uses mechanical key switches, but it has an optical sensor for detecting key actuation. I'm not sure if that's better or worse than a mechanical key. I guess it's, it's what it is. I mean, I mostly just type on it upstairs, but the problem though, it's so noisy that when I'm on a conference call, everyone knows if I'm typing something. So I have to like mute my thing there. Now this one feels beefier than the other one. And it's a weird feel because it's clicking. Listen. It clicks. It feels like a membrane keyboard with a click, if that's possible. It's got like a weird, I'm not sure if I like it. It's almost like you have to put in a little bit more force to get the thing to make the clicking sound. Because you can push it down and then you got to kind of like, it doesn't feel mechanical. It feels like there's an added layer of pressure required. But the keys spring back pretty quickly. That's really weird. Let's see if I can pull the keycap off. We'll pull off the keycap in a minute and see how it works. And then this one, like I said, this one feels a little bit more robust. You get a little volume wheel here and some extra keys, some media keys. And it's a little thicker. It's got a nice, thicker kind of feel to it. And they have both of them have a cable management thing, so you can have the cable come out in either spot. And this one has the nylon braided cable versus just the rubber cable. And let's see what else we got in here. Okay, so that's that. And then what's nice about this one is that you get a wrist rest. So if you're doing a lot of typing, it's nice to have one of these. And this is, I think this is magnetic, so it'll, it doesn't, yeah, it kind of, it slides around, but it attaches magnetically, I think. Let's see. Yeah, it has a magnet on it, but it's not, it still allows a lot of side-to-side movement here. But once you put your wrist down, it's not going anywhere. This is a really weird feeling keyboard. I can't describe it. It clicks. Like on mechanical keyboard, you can feel that actuation click. I can't put my finger on it, as they say. I can't put my finger on it. It's weird, but it looks interesting. So all right, so now what I want to do, we're going to come back to this one because I want to get the Razer Synapse software installed. And I've got my little PC here. So I'm just going to go and download the Razer Synapse software onto my computer here. And if you're curious, I will show you the software here once we get this installed real quick. All right, so give me 1 second. And I will probably kill my overhead lights so that we can see the backlighting on the keyboard. And we're going to begin with this one. All right. So Razer Synapse. What is Cortex? Razer Cortex optimizes. We're not going to do that. So we're going to just click install. 352 megabytes to manage the keyboard on here. So give me 1 second here, folks. We're just going to download that real quick. I'm checking my email constantly because I think they're going to be reaching out to the finalists on that space thing soon. I don't think I'm going to be a finalist, but I hope to be one. But I think the chances are not good for me. But we'll see what happens. If you haven't been following this thing, I posted up a video the other day because they're running this contest to send 4 civilians into space. How cool is that? On a SpaceX rocket. And they had a contest for a small business person to get one of the seats. And you had to make a video about it. So that's what I did. All right, let's see. Wait for this to come through here. Yeah, now BB Garnett makes a very good point. Like 352 megabytes to manage a keyboard. It does seem like a lot, doesn't it? You don't need to do it, but it obviously cannot be configured without the software. Although I would say it's probably on par with other keyboard management apps from other manufacturers. Now this one has media keys also. It's got a volume rocker on it. That's pretty nice. And it's got like an instant macro key here, so we got to explore that a bit too. That's the thing, there's like a lot to explore with these keyboards. So we're going to get into that in just a second here. Finn says it looks kind of cheap. Yeah, I think this is probably their lowest cost keyboard, but I think it'll look less cheap when we get the backlighting going, because they say that all of these keys can be individually backlit. But it feels like, you know those keyboards you get with your Dell desktop? Like that's what it feels like. It's got that springy, membraney kind of feel to it. And I'm just installing the software now, so once that software finishes, there we go. So let's get started. And then I'm going to plug the keyboard in, and then I'll show you the software on the screen here in a minute. So let's plug that keyboard right in there. All right. And I guess you can like save your profile to the cloud. So if you wanted to, I don't know, if you jump between different computers, you can probably synchronize your stuff up there. And now it's downloading like another 35 megabytes. What is going on here? Come on, I just want to get my keyboard configured here, folks. All right, so you can see it's kind of lit up blue. And let me see if I can, just want to see what I can do on lighting here for you all. So if I kill the overhead lights, that's a little bit more visible. And you know, it's interesting because it's less pronounced in person, but there's definitely a degree of intensity on the keyboard lighting here. Like it's not as bright on the left-hand side here as it is throughout. It's not as, I wouldn't say it's as big of a disparity in person Maybe it is. Yeah, I think actually the camera's fairly accurate in its representation of this at the moment. And I'm waiting for something to happen here. I guess it's updating the software. Okay, so now I've got to load up the Razer Synapse software. And I'll show you what I'm looking at here. So now we're doing this part. So that's why I'm stretching things out here a little bit. But I'm a little disappointed with the backlighting so far. I was expecting a little bit more. But they did say that each key is it's like individual key lighting. I don't see how that is because the backlight looks pretty uniform underneath all the keys, but we'll see. And now they really want me to sign up for an account, which I'm not doing. Okay, skip. All right, so it has detected the keyboard. So let's pop in there. All right, you can assign an additional function to the same button or key without interfering with its default input. Okay. All right, so let's see here. I'm just looking through the different things. Here's the lighting. Okay. You know, I had a feeling. So I can adjust the brightness here so you can see me. So if I go to 100, that's the brightest. It's not very bright. I would imagine in a darker room it would be brighter. That's off. This is like 50% right here. So that's what that is. So CC Ateni got the Razer Black Widow for $60. That's not a bad deal. Oh, Open Razer. I got to look for that. Open Razer. That might be an easier way to do things. I'm going to look for that. So I will check that out. Yeah, I've got all the computers here: Linux, Windows, Mac, whatever they've got. So I will check that out. Jorge Martinez, are the key letters easily visible without the backlight? Yes, to some. Yeah, they're more visible to me than they are under the camera right now, for sure. So we'll keep playing around with it a bit here. I was expecting a little bit more out of the backlight here, to be honest with you. Good afternoon to you, Flood of Sins. Welcome to the live stream. We're just playing around with some keyboards that I got in yesterday. So I am trying to figure out how we can get all this stuff to work. I'm going to go to 100% brightness here just to get it all the way through. And yeah, like the box says, it says individually backlit gaming keys. And it shows like different colors. So we got to figure this out. So let's go over to customize. I must be missing something. Gaming mode. Okay. Oh, I see. Disable certain keys here. Give me a second here. I'm going to get this full screen, and then I can share this with you all. Okay. So Hypershift. I've got a lot to learn on this. Okay. So if we go to lighting, all I've got right now. Oh, I see. Oh, here we go. Okay. So ambient audio meter, breathing, fire. Only one Chrome-enabled device. Install. Oh, I have to install the Chroma Studio module. Okay, so I need to install that. Chroma Studio. Unlock the Razer Chrome capabilities with Chroma allows you to create multiple lighting effects synchronized across all your. Okay, let's just whatever. Just add that. All right, so we're going to put that in there. And I'm going to install that and then restart. So let's, oh, now it's doing some funky stuff. But it's really not all that bright, is it? So Anthony Albee, yes, there is another space contest, similar in scope. And actually, this one was announced before the other one a while ago. And that's to go up on Starship to take a trip around the moon. And I think they're looking for artists on that one, not so much, average Joes like me, but I might apply for it. I'll tell you what, though, I'm a little more keen to do low Earth orbit than go to the moon and back, at least at the moment. Maybe things will change, but, you're a little closer to Earth on the other thing. But yeah, I think I may take a look at that. I mean, why not put the hat in the ring? That one's a long way off. So I think by the time that one goes, my kids will be getting close to college. So that one might be safer take that kind of risk on. And I will check out OpenRazor in a little bit. And as Elvis points out in the Amazon chat, that it looks like, yeah, it doesn't look like the keys are individually lit. It's just like a light behind them. So that's why I want to keep. I need to figure out exactly what this is supposed to be doing. Okay, so this is Chroma Studio. Okay, hang on a second here, folks. Let me get this full screen here. And this is what I do on these live streams, because this stuff comes in, and I try to figure out how it all works. So you're learning with me as we go. So this looks like what I was looking for, which was a way to control the keys individually. So, and man, my eyes are getting bad. I can't even see my screen, but everything is little in fairness to me. So let's go to, I'm going to turn this off. And I just want to have, let's get rid of this layer. Can I get rid of the layer completely? Yeah, I can trash it, I think. Oh, I see. Or I could just change this to something else. So, because I don't want an effect so much as I just want a key to light up a certain color, right? And have like a static. Yeah, so this thing is so complicated. Like I just want to have it be, I just want to set it to like a specific key. So let me go back here and see if I can figure this out. Like I want the Y key to be a certain color. That's what I want. Switch lighting. Configure chroma effect in Chroma Studio. I mean, do people spend this much time doing this with their keyboards? Quick effects. Fire, audio meter breathing, wave, wheel. Yeah, I don't think this is individually backlit, but I could be wrong. All right, so let's see if we can figure this out. So I add group, duplicate effects, but I can't trash this one. So like where is like the, like I just want a color. This may be what I was looking for, ambient awareness. Okay. So how do I apply this? Let's hit save. And see now it's back to doing that again. I can trash this one now, so let's do that. Okay, that one's gone. Okay, so now we got, that's what I'm looking for. Ambient awareness, the keyboard is off. All right, so, and what am I doing here? Okay, so that's off. So now, what I'm going to do is do our like WASD key. So I'm going to have this W key. Oh, I think it just crashed. Oh, I see. It's looking for a color. All right, so let's do that. Okay, so I'm just going to make that, it's black. Why is it black? I don't want it to be black. Gosh, this is crazy. Oh, I can do the fill here. Okay, so let's do that. This is like not for people like me who have no patience. I just want this key to be a specific color. And it's like you got to jump through all of these hoops. This effect may require your game or application to run in borderless window mode. Oh, this is like a screen. Oh, I see what that is. That's not what I want then. So we need to go to static. That's what we want. Let's try that. All right, static. Yes, okay. That is what we want. So let's save that. Okay. And now I'm going to have some green keys. So I'm going to go select W, A, if I can hit the shift key here, or control maybe, yeah, there we go. All right, so I'm going to make these keys like green and save. Okay. Yeah, so that's what I just did. And it's sort of doing it, right? It's the light is not like underneath the keys individually. So let's see if we can make these all a different color. So let's say have this one be red. This one's going to be blue. And this one will be yellow. And let's see what happens when I click save. Okay, you watching? Click save. Ooh, that is ugly. Yeah, so the precision, so I do not doubt that there is a separate, there is no doubt a separate lights for each key, but it is incredibly dim. And as you can see, it's not all that precise in that the light will bleed over to the other key. So it's not like what you would experience with some of their other keyboards there. Interesting. All right, let's take a look at the chat here, see if I'm missing anything. Yeah, so that's what you get out of this one. So, you know, it's okay, but I was expecting a little more value out of the, because that's, you know, you think about it like this. I'm sorry it's dark in here because I'm keeping the light off for this. This is kind of a key feature, right, of what they're kind of pumping here. Like, hey, here's a $60 keyboard with backlighting. Here, I'll put this, see if I can get this light on without, yeah, no. So that's under the light there. So it's not bad, but I was expecting a little bit more out of it. It's not that bright, and I'm going to test this in like a totally dark room and shoot that a little bit. Here, I'll turn the light back off again. And I can tell you by looking at it, let me get the camera. I'm just going to get the camera adjusted so that what it sees is close to what I'm seeing with my eyes. My cameras don't have a very good dynamic range, but that's about what I'm seeing. And you can see there's like a lot of bleed through there. All right, so that is the Sinosa V2. So that's what that is. Mark Smith wants to see the waterfall effect. I shall deliver for you. Let's try that real quick. So let's go back to lighting. And I'll pull this up on screen so you can see what I'm doing here. And we want to find the waterfall. I see ambient awareness, audio meter, breathing, fire, reactive ripple, spectrum cycling, starlight, static, wave. Is that what you're looking for? I'll put wave above this. And we'll turn that one off. And let's see what we get. All right, so now it's not, here, let's go back to the lighting. Let me get rid of that. I think I know what I did wrong here. Turn this back on. So I'm going to come back and mess with this later. Oh, I see. Okay, so let's go back to the lighting. So that's that. But let's go and do the quick effects. So we've got ambient awareness, audio, breathing, fire. Here, you know what I'll do is I'll step through all of these. So this one actually doesn't look too bad on here, right? Because it doesn't need precision. So this one is called wheel. Audio meter is tied to your audio on your laptop, and there's no audio going right now. Breathing. I'll just randomize it here. And this is kind of like your standard breathing thing. This one's fire, which I think we saw a minute ago. It's just not very bright, and it's on 100% brightness right now too. This is reactive. So this one's kind of neat because this one, if I push a key, I'll make it like a brighter red here. If I push a key, oh, that's neat. So it's got like a little heat map of what keys you're typing in the most. That's pretty cool, isn't it? And you can do like, here, let me get my notepad up. So notepad, and I'll just go. That's cool. So as you're typing, so I can type out, I got notepad up, so I'll just type out like, and it kind of fades it out. So that is reactive. Next is ripple. Well, that's neat. I've always liked that effect. I've seen that on other keyboards. Oh, what happened? It just switched to something else. That's breathing. Let's go back to ripple. There we go. And I'll make it like yellow. Okay. The yellow actually doesn't look too bad on here. That one's pretty bright. It really depends on the color. I guess isn't that funny how much better that one looks? So like here, that's yellow. And then I'll do something like red. It's a lot dimmer, isn't it? Let's do like a purple. That yellow seems to be a little brighter. Pretty neat. Okay. Andrew says, I'm using the black Mamba Snake keyboard. He likes it, even though his is membrane. Yeah, this one's membrane also. And thank you for the follow, Andrew. Andrew says, this keyboard is pretty low end for $60, and certain colors do look better. Yeah, the yellow is definitely looking better out of the bunch here. Let's see if I'm missing any comments here. All right, so now let's go to some of the other effects here. So we just did ripple. This is spectrum cycling. And I think it's just going to shift through the different colors. This might be a good way to demonstrate, like, see how bright that yellow looks? And then as it cycles through some other ones, it'll look a little different. I mean, I guess, you know, for $60 and you know, if you can't afford something mechanical and you want, you know, some addressable keys, it's just weird because the backlight is kind of on the side of the, it's not like directed through the key. So I think some of these zoned things might look better. This one's called Starlight. Ooh. I can do two different colors here too, so we can do like a purple there. And you can change the duration of how it works. So that's kind of neat. And then you've got static, which we did before, so I can make it a static color. So that green looks pretty good. The red, as you can see, is dimmer. And this is like a light green. And it's not uniform. Again, it does fade off on the side here, for sure. And then you've got wave, and you can determine the direction the wave goes in. So it's going to the right now, and then I can shift the direction and go the other way. And then you got the wheel. So there you go. Okay, got a good feel for that one. I'm going to probably review these two together because they are kind of the lower end offerings. And now we're going to plug in. This is the Mecha mechanical one, or the Mecha membrane. So this one has the mechanical feel, but it is a membrane keyboard, which we opened up a little bit earlier. So let's plug that one in. Okay. And the backlight on this one looks to be about the same. It's like got that similar, it's like not lighting the keys, it's lighting the surface below the keys, and it's kind of going through. So let's go in and see if we can do, now this one did not advertise that you could do key-specific stuff. Mark Smith is wondering, can you do white? I think you can. Let me, I'll do it with this one because this one looks similar. I will say this one appears a little bit brighter to me, maybe. So let me go back to the software here and see what we get. All right. Yeah, I didn't think keyboards would be all that interesting to viewers today, but these came in, and I do look at keyboards every once in a while. These videos actually do really well on Amazon because people are shopping and they're looking for, you know, some info as to what they're about to buy, right? So when I do these reviews on Amazon, they tend to do pretty well. And if you are not following me on Amazon, you can go to Lon.TV/Amazon shop, and you can follow me there, just like Andrew did. And you can also watch me live on Amazon if you click the link in the video description. Because I am doing a lot with Amazon, because it's a very good fit for what I do. Let's see. Now, why am I not getting my keyboard controls on here? Feedback, online services. Let's go back to the dashboard. That is the dashboard. Let's see. My apps, Razor Synapse. No, it's got an update. So Elvis says this one looks brighter. So it might be marginally brighter then. That might be the case. Hey, you know what I saw today? Elgato just came out with it. This might be kind of fun for the channel here. They have a green screen, and I don't know why I hadn't really thought of this before, but they have a green screen mouse pad. So it's it's a mouse pad, but it's a green screen. So I could put it down on the table here, and it would be easier to pull these items out when we're doing. Isn't that cool? Like you can basically chroma key your table when you have an overhead shot. And I'm sure there are other mouse pads out there that do that. So I don't think they invented this concept, but it was kind of a neat idea. I'm not sure what's going on because now my computer is like fully locked up here. My keyboard has disabled itself. I'm not sure if this Razor software is doing something. So let's give this a second to work itself out here. And I will jump onto my Mac maybe and follow the chat here because this thing is not cooperating. I may have to reboot the computer. There it goes. Okay, it's unlocked up now. And it wants me to restart the computer. All right, I'm going to do that. However, I'm going to close out my NDI here for now. Yeah, so it just asked me to restart the computer for a keyboard software update. So we're going to let that do its thing real quick. I'm going to turn my main studio lamp on for a second. And I'll take some questions while we're rebooting. Yeah, so I'm going to get that green screen mouse pad. I think that's a neat idea. Because I have their other one. And again, this is not unique to Elgato, but it's just, you know what you're getting. So I have this green screen. And this has proven to be really useful because I can just, whenever I need to, I can pull it out off, it just sits there. It's not like in the way of anything. It's right behind me. I can just pull it up, and then I have a green screen preset on my vMix. So whenever I need to do green screen, I can just pull that up, and suddenly I'm in a different set. It's great. And vMix is really good at green screen and keying. So I've really enjoyed that. Let me pull up a few more chats here while we're waiting. And yeah, we're just kind of having a chill live stream today, nothing crazy, because I am just trying to figure these keyboards out for an upcoming review. And I thought I would involve all of you. All right, so now we're back on the screen here. So let me go into the software. You know what I'm going to do is I am going to unplug this, and I'm going to bring in a different NDI capture. And I'm not going to stream for too long today because I got a couple other things I want to get done. But I did want to start working on these keyboards. All right, so we're good there. And let me just add our laptop into the mix here. This might be a better way to do it. Okay, so now you're not going to get like the full, the full screen, but you'll get something similar. And oops, that's the wrong one. That was yesterday's review. Hang on, let me go load up the Synapse software. Razor Synapse. Okay. Spiritual Warden is not a fan of Razor products. I've had mixed feelings on them. I like the industrial design of them. Even their less expensive products here, like this one, feels relatively decent. I think the software they use is a bit intrusive, which is why that Open Synapse software is appealing to me. I'm going to check that out in a few minutes. So we'll go and take a look at that. Billy Boy, I appreciate the comments here. You know, my tenure here as a live streamer. So first of all, I'm old, right? Old people like me don't live stream, first and foremost. And you know, for me, I was trained in college back in the 90s, which is why everything looks like it hasn't progressed from there. And you know, this notion of dead air is terrifying to me. So, but that's the deal. People like the dead air, right? They just like that process of being kind of hanging out, right? Which I guess is what this medium lends itself to do, right? Because you couldn't have dead air on a broadcast because the time was so valuable. But now the time is not a scarce resource anymore. So people can just chill on a stream, kind of hang out all together. And here's a good comment from Fat Angus. This is what I always try to do, is I try to get all of the, Fat Agnes, I'm sorry. I try to get all of, as much of what the general consumer could be looking for. And one of the things that I also spend some time in after I post a review in a product that I'm not familiar with, or a product category I'm not that familiar with, I always go back to the comments, and if there's something that I missed, then I will either do something on the extras channel or actually post a follow-up video. And that was the early days of my keyboard, or my early days of my computer reviews. I was doing that because I was not sure what the viewers were looking for, so I often went back and did that. So yeah, I'm eager to get my hands on that green screen thing, by the way. Hang on one second, I'm just checking my email here again. I mean, it's kind of fruitless. I don't think I am going to be selected for this space trip, but they posted today that they're like in the final stages, which means they're probably down to their top 10. And so I think I was reading through the rules, I think part of the deal is that if you're in the top 10, they're going to do a background check on you. And the good thing for me is that I have the most boring life ever. So minus the fact that I can review keyboards for a living. I mean, that's interesting. But yeah, so we'll see. I don't think it's going to be me, though. Toys are for boys. I'm on my 4th Razer Huntsman V2 in many months. The T key went bad 3 times, and last time it was the P key. Paid more for return shipping. Oh my goodness, sorry to hear that. Is the Razer Huntsman, is that the optical one, or is that the regular one? Mark Smith said, will turning off the lights make the camera work better? In this case, it will. So I'm going to kill, so right now I just have my front light on me. So my overhead light is off. But I will kill the light here and see what this looks like here as we start playing around with it. So if I kill the studio light, it gives you a better sense. But I will say, in looking at, so I'm looking at the image on screen that you see, and what I see is pretty close to what my camera's picking up. So it's just like the other keyboard, it's kind of dimmer here on the side. So the edges are not as distinct because the light is like over here. And it's a different concept because typically the key caps themselves light up. And this is a membrane keyboard, so that might be why this looks this way. It almost looks as though the membrane underneath is the part that's lit. I'm just trying to see where the light is coming from because it's diffusing out, just like the other keyboard, it's diffusing out to this substrate that is below the keys. And I'm trying to get a good look at this. Maybe we can get it from the side here. I'm going to probably get in with my phone and give you a better look. So let me do that real quick. And you know, keyboards are not hard to review, but they've become much more, you know, it's funny when a number of years ago, you know, the mechanical keyboards were on the way out. Nobody was making them. And then the gamers realized that the mechanical keyboards have some real advantages. So that's what kind of brought them back again. And now the keyboards, there's real aficionados of keyboards out there, and you got to make sure when you're reviewing keyboards that you try to cover the things that people buy keyboards for now, and the things they buy them for are numerous. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, this is going to be fun. I'm using a technology called NDI, and one of the things you can do is use the NDI HX camera app, which I have loaded up on my phone at this very moment. And if I click OK here, watch this. Boom. Okay, so now I can get in there and show you what I was talking about. So it's like a substrate underneath the keyboard. And I got to tell you, these iPhone cameras are amazing. Because look at this, like this, that's the lighting in the room right now. That's what the iPhone picks up. It's magic. Not good for this though, because I'm trying to get get in underneath that key there. Let's see if I can get in there. But you see how it's like that substrate beneath it is lit up? It's like a, yeah, so we're going to go play around with the app a little bit and see if we can, give me another look at it right here. I'm just trying to figure it out. And so this one, when you push the key down, here I'll push the, so it's got a click to it, but it is a membrane keyboard. And you got the little wrist pad here. You know, the iPhone almost does a better job of the keyboard than my actual. But I do think this is brighter than what I'm seeing. The iPhone is definitely enhancing the image. This is really what I see. It's very close to what I see there. So I might go a little bit brighter on this camera until I get it pretty close. Yeah, that's pretty much what I see. But that's the NDI camera app, in case you're wondering. Okay. Let's get out of there. And yeah, there's lots of discussion here. Let's see. I'm going to try to catch up on some of these comments. And some of these keyboards use the same switches, but they're made by, okay, the analog optical switches are made, yeah, so that's the one that I've got. And I have not had those problems, but I don't use that keyboard all the time. So that's it. I use that up in my secondary office upstairs. So I'm not using it as much as you're using it, but that's the one that I've got upstairs. And if the slightest bit of dust gets in there, it won't work. Oh, geez. I can look forward to that. I heard a soft sound. I do believe my Model M just whispered, here's a key. Okay, hang on a second here. Let me just get my other thing back up here. And we'll see if we can get those individual keys to light up. I'm pretty sure this one doesn't do what the other one did insofar as individually lit keys. But I will put that to the test in a second. And by the way, the other email I'm waiting for, in addition to my fate on the space mission, which is unlikely, is an email about my T-cell test, which is going to be the subject. If it comes in on by Friday or Monday, it'll be the subject of the weekly wrap-up this week. So I had a T-cell test to see if I had past exposure to the COVID-19 thing. Because remember, I thought I got it at CES last year, and I took an antibody test, which came back negative. But there's some speculation out there that your long-term T-cell immunity is the vector in which you will be protected in the future. So if your T cells are indicating some reactivity, then it might be a sign of past infection. So I'm really eager to see what the results of that are. So they drew my blood last week, and I'm waiting for the test to come back. Okay, so let's go over to the lighting section again. And we're going to go into the Chroma Studio. And this is exactly what we were using before. And I got to check and see, if it remembers the profile. So we're going to do W. Oh, it looks like it does let you do the keys here. So let's say W, A, S, and D. And then we'll select, we'll just do a nice yellow there. And we'll save that. Yeah. Just like the other one. So there is some bleed off there, right? So let's go and make these keys a little different colors. So we'll make this one red, this one green, and this one blue. So we're going to do that. And then I'm going to click Save. And there you go. So I'd say there's probably a little bit more light on this one. And if you want to hear the clicking, I will pull up Notepad and just do a quick little article here. So here's the sound. Ready? It's a real. It feels like it's funny. They call this a membrane. What do they call this one? This is the Mecha membrane gaming keyboard, and it feels just like it feels exactly how you would expect a Mecha membrane to feel. It clicks. You feel the click, but you also feel that membrane-y thing as you're pushing down on it. So it really has, it feels like both at the same time. Feels like both at the same time. That's what it feels like. That's what I was looking for. It's like, what does it feel like? Because it feels different. And it's actually because it is a true Mecha membrane keyboard. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, so if you just tuned in, we've been looking at two different keyboards. So this one is the Mecha membrane. Actually, I'm sorry. This is the Ornata V2. And I'm not knocking these. I mean, if you're on a budget, and you like the click, but you don't want to spend $300 on a keyboard, this one, it's okay. It doesn't feel awful to me. This one feels. This is strictly membrane, but it has the RGB lighting on it. And this is the Synosa V2, and this one has no clicking at all. It's just straight up membrane. It very much feels like the membrane keyboard that would come with your commodity desktop computer. So that's what this one is. I got to explore the macros and stuff in the Synapse software. It does have some extra keys, so you do have media controls and a volume rocker. And I'm guessing you could probably configure those keys to do something specific. So that's neat, but it doesn't feel all that great. The backlight isn't bad on it, but as you see, it's similar to this one in that you can individually address a key, but it bleeds over. So it's not shining it up through the keycap. It's like illuminating the area around it with like a diffuser. There's like some kind of diffusing membrane thing underneath the keys. So that's what that one is. And some people are wondering why the ratio of likes on this one is low. I never know. Like I said, I've never been a live streamer, so I'm not sure what people gravitate to. I have found if I'm working on a PC or something and I'm taking stuff apart, those tend to do better than just futzing around with stuff that I got in for review. All right, so I want to see the open. Let me go back to that comment. Oops. So there's some open source software that you can use to control the keyboard, which might be fun to open Razor. So let's look for Open Razor real quick. Open Razor. Oh, this is for Linux. So this won't work on my Windows computer, it looks like. If you're curious, this is Open Razor. So you can do the lighting, everything, if you're on Linux. Oh, this is cool though. If you're on Ubuntu or one of the other Linux distributions, you can get your keyboard working with those. Pretty cool. All right. Cool. Well, I think I've got some stuff to start with here, but let's take a look at the macros. So we'll go back to the keyboard here. Let me pull this up for you. And we could set macros. And that's one thing that I like about these Razer keyboards is that you do get an extra key, or a couple of extra keys, both on the inexpensive one and this one. So, for example, I could have this key do something other than what its assigned purpose is. So I could do so I could turn it into a caps lock key, something like that. I think I can do a little text function. Let's try this. So if I hit save, that key will now do something different. So if I go to my notepad here, let's just get rid of some of that text. If I hit that key now, yeah, see that? It just types out my name. So I'm hitting this key. And so that's nice because a lot of times you get these keyboards, you have to hit all these different key commands to initiate because they don't give you extra keys. So on these, if you don't like, if you don't need the media keys, you can configure them to do something different. So that's something that I like on these. And then let me turn that key off here. How do we get that? I'm done with you. I don't want to see you anymore, key. Let's see. So then on the wheel, let's see. I just want to get off of. Oh, I see that one's configured. Okay, so we're off of that when I click on the next one. So on the wheel here, because you've got a couple of different commands, I can have this volume down. Right now it does volume down. Here, let me show you the actual screen I'm looking at. Right now it's doing the volume down. So let me go back and show you what I did. So we were on this key. This key is lit up green because I've got something programmed to it now. And then I can go over here to the volume rocker. And even though I clicked on it and it didn't activate the command because this rocker does 3 different things. So I can push it down, it clicks, and then I have volume up and down. So right now it's configured to do that. But I probably could have it be a scroll function. Yeah, so I could have volume down be scroll down. So we'll save that. And then volume up, we can have it be scroll up. And the big question is whether or not this will retain anything that we just programmed if I plug it into my Mac. And I think the answer to that is no. But we'll check that in a second. So here I'm actually assigning a mouse function to the keyboard. All right, so now, see what I'm doing here? I'm moving this up and down, and now I've turned on scrolling. Isn't that cool? So like that could be useful if you don't want to have to reach to the arrow key or something, or you want to have a more precise scroll. So you've got basically every click of that wheel, I'm turning it really slowly here, will give you that. So that's kind of neat. I got enough to start with here. And I do want to see, Mark was asking about whether or not it can do a white backlight. And let's see what we got there. There is some discussion about the fact that they want you to have an account. And I guess you need that for saving things between computers. I went in under guest mode, and it's letting me do all this stuff. I have a feeling, though, if I plug this keyboard into a different computer, that it's not going to retain anything, which I'll try out in a little bit. So the next question was on the lighting. So let's go into Chroma Studio again. And I'm just going to select all the keys, and let's just have it be white. I think I just did that. Let's see, save. Nope, I didn't do that. Because you can select an individual key or just select all of them. And we'll go here to make it white. Okay, so now we're put the good old 255 in there and click Save. And now, if you're curious, it is white. So it will do that. Yeah, so some colors are definitely brighter than others. So if I went red here, you'll see it gets dimmer. And it's just the nature of the color, perhaps, but it's not as intense. The intensity of the light is very different. And yellow here is going to be close to... But as you can see on the side, it definitely loses a little bit of... it definitely dims out a bit. So it's you know, it's the light is not really coming up through the key individually. It's lighting the diffuser membrane of it. So that's what it's doing there. All right, so that is that part. And now I wonder what happens if I plug the keyboard into something else, because I don't think the keyboard has any memory on board. So let's try that real quick. We're going to disconnect it. Let me get my graphic up here for something else in a second. All right, so let me go get my Mac. I'm going to get my Mac and all of its dongles. And let's plug it in and see what happens. All right, so right now it's yellow, and we have that, that scroll wheel mapped as a mouse scroll. So I'm able to, here, I'll show you what I'm doing. So as I'm, see that, that's happening when I use the scroll wheel. So now, and the Mac doesn't support the Razer keyboard software, I don't believe. So I'm going to unplug the PC here. And we're going to plug the Mac in. I've got a docking station on my desk, so I can just plug the Mac in and get everything up and running with that. So let me get my Thunderbolt cable out here. I've got this great Kensington dock that works with both Thunderbolt and USB-C. And I've got it mounted off the side of my desk. It's so perfect for this spot. So we're going to plug my Mac in. And wait for the keyboard to light up here. It looks like it's not remembering anything of what it had before. Yeah, it looks like it's just doing its standard color cycle. Maybe not. Let's see. All right, so I'm going to use my scroll wheel. Yeah, it's just doing volume. So it did not retain the settings. So it looks like I have to be logged into that Synapse software to get that to do its thing. And there's actually, okay, there's a Mac software to configure it. Yeah, and there's some keyboards, so I've looked at a few, and I don't think the Razer's, maybe Razer has one that does that. There are some keyboards that do say they retain the settings in the keyboard itself. I think the Logitech ones do that. There's a few that do that, and those seem to work pretty well. I'm going to leave this blown out because I'm going to turn the lights off when I do the review later. So, yeah, so that is those two keyboards. I think they're pretty reasonably priced. I mean, the lighting is not as precise, but you get the same software as their more expensive keyboards. So that might, if you're into their software and their macro controls and stuff, that might be kind of neat. So yeah, that's about it. So everybody, that's what I wanted to do at the moment. I might stream tomorrow because I have some more stuff to test out. I got in a QNAP network-attached storage device that has 2.5 gig Ethernet on it, so you can get faster speeds. So we're going to play around with that a little bit. So that is the next stream we're going to do probably tomorrow at some point. So set your notifications, and if you haven't already, head over to Amazon and follow me there, because I found Amazon is better about notifying people about my live streams than YouTube tends to be. So check it out. And yeah, that's about it. So I'm going to jet everybody, because I'm going to get some more work done here. But I wanted to get these things tested initially and figured out. So I think I am there. And we'll have these up in a couple of days with a review. And then be sure to stick around on the main channel because tomorrow I've got that PoE powered Windows mini PC to check out, so that'll be something we play around with. BB Garnett's wondering if I watched the launch yesterday. Yeah, that was awesome. If you haven't seen it, go to the SpaceX YouTube channel. Actually, go to NASA's spaceflight also because they launched Starship, their huge rocket. Now remember, the last two they tried, they got it up to the altitude, it got right down to the end where it would land, and then it crashed. This time it did not crash, it actually landed itself, and it stayed landed for about 15 minutes, and then it exploded. So it was a pretty awesome, had everything you could want. Launch, landing, explosions, and that's that. Handquake said, how important is color retention on my keyboard? For me, not very important because I typically don't pay much attention to my RGB, but the macro retention would be. So, and it didn't retain the macro support. So we'll see what goes on there. Frank Cromer said, I thought the launch failed. Yeah, it did fail initially. So they had lit the engines and then they had a shutdown right before they were going to release it. And then they reset and did it again. And it went back up. And that was apparently a milestone kind of test also, because typically after you light the engines and have an abort, you got to do some maintenance on them. But they lit them back up and took off again. It was great. So it's pretty neat. Redacted says, wow, a PoE. Yes, it is a PoE Windows mini PC. It's the Azul Byte 4. And we played around with it on the live stream the other day. And yesterday I shot the review for it. And it was a lot of fun. It was pretty cool. So that was that. Michael Kidd says, play some Doom on there. Oh, neat. It'll respond with your scene and health. Well, that's pretty cool. So it lights up the keyboard with your health, almost like a second screen kind of thing. That's kind of neat. We'll have to play around with that too. All right. Well, I am going to disconnect for now, but I will be back on in a little bit, probably tomorrow, with that QNAP. I'm either going to do the QNAP NAS or something else I've got to work on. So there's a never-ending stream of stuff on the docket here. So, all right, everybody. I'm going to head out for now, but you know where to find me. And I'm actually going to be able to time now what the delay is when I put the end of stream thing up here. All right, so I'm going to thank you all. Thanks all. And I'm going to put this up, and I will catch you all next time. Bye-bye. Okay, it looks like this is about half the, so the other thing is like 30 seconds, this is 15. So we'll try ultra latency next time and see what we get. All right, everybody, we'll catch you all soon. Have a good one.